Okay, let's come to payments. Uh, Payments is one of banking service. Actually, banking is about payment services also, as much as it is about uh, deposit and saving and credit giving. Banking is also about payments. So, therefore, one of the regulated banking activities is payment services. Payment service regulation in Ethiopia, the origin of payment service regulation in Ethiopia, I mean, the modern payment service regulation can be uh, this proclamation, National Payment System Proclamation 718 of 2011. Uh, Before we get into that, I think it's important to emphasize the nature of payments and the purpose of payments. Uh, you know, banks have always been working towards making uh, payment systems simpler. Traditionally, payment was through cash, but then a check was invented in order to help or simplify payments. Check as a means of payment resolved the problem of carrying a huge load of cash. It also protected the payer from the risk of robbery while carrying cash from one place to another. So check was the original, I mean, the first innovative method of payment system. There are many varieties: traveler's check, I mean, cross check, whatever. That's one important innovation. Thereafter, of course, came in the middle of the 20th century came payment cards. This credit cards, debit cards, and whatever. So those simplified payments in such a way that you don't even need to sign a piece of paper that I call a check. You can simply carry a card and make payments to, I mean, different places, I mean, the stores and whatever. So the modern payments, the later stage of payments after payment cards, credit and debit cards, was uh, this digital wallets. So uh, you know from cards, digital wallets are different because you don't have to carry a physical card. I mean, you can simply carry all your savings or deposits. You can order instructions for payments from your deposits through digital codes, different types of systematized codes. You can simply give a number and make payments. So digital wallets, mobile wallets are the new forms of payment mechanisms, methods enabled by this payment system infrastructure. Well, in the second decade of the 21st century, even more advanced mechanisms of payments like digital currencies have come, but digital currencies are different from the previous models. Digital currencies like cryptocurrencies entail that you are not talking about dollar or pound sterling when it comes to digital currencies like cryptocurrencies. Here it's about complete freedom from regulatory control. So we're not getting into that. When we look at the National Payment System Proclamation, which is the underlying legal uh, basis for payment system regulation, it talks about all other payment instruments including the checks, cards, digital wallets, and mobile wallets. And that's what we are going to look at. So how is this payment system made possible, the modern payment system made possible? There are different institutions that come together and work in concert to make payments possible. One at the basic level, you need to have a payment instrument issuer. Payment instrument can be a card or a digital wallet. So that's payment instrument issuer. So that is basically a bank, a microfinance institution, or a mobile network operator that issues payment instruments. And then you have another institution, again different financial institution, bank, microfinance, or mobile network operator, that's known as acquirer, that works on behalf of merchants. Payment issuer works on behalf of customers that are the card holders, whereas the acquirer works on behalf of merchants, and the two make possible payment for commodities at the particular store to be made possible. The payments to be made to the merchant. The merchant, the acquirer on behalf of the merchant, facilitates payment of the price for whatever is bought or sold by communicating with the issuer of the payment instrument. But then you also need another type of institution, which is payment system operator. That is a technology infrastructure provider that makes possible different payment instruments to work or to interface. So if you have a card issued by, let's say, Zemen Bank, and as a customer you pay using Zemen Bank card, and the merchant or the dealer from whom you buy, maybe the customer of Awash Bank, so there's no way for a Zemen Bank card to be collected by a merchant that doesn't use Zemen card. So a payment system operator therefore makes it possible for this different for payment instruments issued by different institutions to be interoperable, for you to be able to pay to a merchant even though that merchant uses different bank or different financial institution. So that's where the payment system operator comes. The main value that payment system operators bring into the payment system marketplace is interoperability. So therefore, let's look at the two important institutions here: the payment instrument issuers and the payment system operators. Payment instrument issuers. There is a new directive on payment instrument issuers, which was passed probably a month or two ago. So that directive has very detailed regulatory standards. There is entry regulation, minimum capital requirement that has to be 50 million per paid up capital. Also, requirements about officers, directors of the issuer. And then there are also post-entry regulatory requirements like consumer protection, because card holders need protection, like traditional depositors in a bank or credit takers from a bank. Card holders require protection. So therefore, there are lots of issues of consumer protection. There are lots of issues about customer data protection. If the directive, if you look, refers to the payment card industry data security standards, which is actually kind of universal standard applicable to all payment issuers in the world. I mean, the origin of this uh, standards are in most